Hi everybody. I was asked recently by a member who asked me what would happen at the US Department of Treasury when billions of abandoned credit, that's the signature energy, starts to be recouped by our membership and via the Clifford Protocol. What are they going to do in? Are they going to close the program down, and are they going to stop you and your organisation from recouping the signature energy? Surely it would bankrupt the United States Treasury, wouldn't it, Ian? So my answer was on two levels, and I've just produced a report which you can find in the Telegram channel here. The answer to the question is no, and let me explain why. The all of the credit that's flowing around on the monopoly board is created ex nihilo. It's created out of nothing. So banks are creating the credit, and the United States Treasury and all of the central banks are creating the credit by an ex nihilo process, as I've been describing on my webinars. So, given that there is unlimited credit that can be created by the basically by the establishment of the treasuries issuing bonds and the central banks buying bonds from the treasuries, then there's never going to be any credit crisis where, for example, the nations run out of credit. There's unlimited credit. I've been saying this for years. There should be no famine in the world at all, because there's unlimited credit in the way that this ex nihilo system works. So when you examine the amount of taxes that the payers, that's the investment banks that are paying to the Treasury for the rental of our energy, as I've been explaining on our webinars recently, the amount of taxes that the investment banks are paying is basically part of the slavery model. If there is unlimited credit, if there is no money of substance, why is there any need for a tax system at all? And the answer is obvious, isn't it? If you don't have a tax system, then you wouldn't be able to employ your global slavery model in the same way if you are one of the cabal. So let's have a look at what happens when our members, millions of our members, start recouping their abandoned credit. The only ceiling to the amount that they can recoup is the amount of taxes that the investment banks have paid to the Treasury, first of all via their 945 tax modules, but also via their other tax modules. So, for example, just round numbers, if there was $10 billion a year being paid by the investment banks in taxes, that would be that year's ceiling of how much our members could recoup. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, surely if $10 billion of taxes isn't now being used by the United States Treasury, isn't that going to bankrupt the economy? And my answer is no, because the United States Treasury and the Federal Reserve can print as much currency as they want, as they need, as has been evidenced in the last X number of years, as we've all seen. There's been alleged pandemics where they print currency. There's been an alleged credit crisis in 2008 where they print currency to bail things out. So there is no issue with the United States running out of credit. There's unlimited credit. The only ceiling for our membership to be able to recoup their abandoned credit is how much tax has been paid in by the investment bank payers, of which there is around about 10 billion a year. So that kind of is our ceiling. So if you are interested in getting involved in credit recoupment, in currency creation, as I've been presenting on my webinars for the last few years, and more so, and describing it in much more granular detail recently, then there is a limit to how much can be recouped. We're nowhere near that limit at the moment, but I would strongly suggest that if you want to get involved in this, that you need to start doing it soon, because as soon as we start to get credit recoupments funded out to our membership, on the back of the fact that we have already got recoupments in our pilot scheme and our head of tax Lisa Griffin before she resigned and joined the pirates, who undermined our organisation. In 2025, Lisa had her recoupments, other people got their recoupments. If you want to read the detail about how we track how much tax the payers have paid, how we track all the way through from the signature that creates the credit with the bank where that credit is being originated at the front end of the process and all the way through the process, have a read of my report. I think you'll find it very interesting. And in terms of whether there's going to be the US Department of Treasury closing down what we're doing, I don't think they can, because this is exactly how the system works. What I have uncovered, how I've unpacked it, how I have triangulated it, how I've joined all the dots up, there's nothing in what we are doing that is unlawful. It is 100% how the system is being built. It's just they don't want you to know it. Well, now that you start to come to my webinars and you're hopefully reading my technical papers, you're beginning to understand how this system really works. Have a great day.